writing hack is to learn from your slow learners. It can be really frustrating when you have a client or a customer or a potential funder who just really doesn't seem to get what you do, no matter how precisely you explain it. And not only that, but these people I'm calling slow learners even seem kind of intentionally obstinate, like they don't want to learn the precise terms that you use to describe your product or your service. This is actually a great opportunity when you run into someone like this, because you have an opportunity to learn about how they are perceiving the world and figure out how to connect to their frame of reference, how to reframe what you are saying so it fits into their world rather than trying to drag them kicking and screaming into your world. So here's an example. So let's say you're an engineer and you have developed some kind of a device to help farmers, some kind of a machine, high-tech equipment. And this device has a kind of a cord or a cable that you have to pull at some point to start a particular function. Now, let's say you are trying to sell this device to a donkey farmer, somebody who raises donkeys. Now, you have shown diagrams, you've given a nice presentation, you have patiently walked this potential customer through the equipment and all of its wonderful benefits, and you have described all its different component parts, which you think he needs to understand in order to really grasp those benefits. And one of those parts is this cord that's hanging at the end, which you call the anterior activation cable, or the AAC. For some reason, your donkey farmer just doesn't seem to get this. He can't seem to get the acronym. He keeps getting mixed up. So he just keeps calling it the tail, the tail. So you pull on the tail to get it started, right? Now, you might find this really frustrating and think, gee, he is missing out on the sophistication of the technology here. He's not really getting it. How is he going to understand the rest of it if he doesn't understand the AAC and so on? That's one way to look at it. Now, the smart way to look at it is to recognize that the farmer is drawing on his frame of reference, and that what you need to do is shift so that you are also standing in that frame with him. He's used to raising donkeys, so of course, donkeys have a head, they have a tail. So it makes sense to him to call it the tail. So rather than persisting and trying to get him to understand all of the acronyms and technical terms that you know, is there a way that you can actually make this device fit his frame of reference? So if there's another part that he might understand if you called it the head, so you've got the head and the tail, then you might really be rocking with this client. So it's often less about accuracy and more about creating that connection and that deeper understanding. There are situations in which it's critical that your client or your customer or your funder understand with 100% accuracy the terms that you are using. But there are a lot of situations when all you really need to do is to make sure that you share an understanding and develop a positive relationship that you can build on.